So, about 4 years into the PS5's life cycle, and we finally have an official PS5 version of Path of Exile. The sad fact is, for the last several years, we have simply been playing an inferior version of Path of Exile, the PS4 version, and it didn't really run that well to begin with. It goes without saying that if you have a decent PC, that is the best place to play Path of Exile, no doubt. But not everybody has a decent PC, and some people just prefer to play games on console. So for a lot of us, we have been playing Path of Exile on our Xboxes and our PlayStations, but now we have an official PS5 version that comes with a little extra bells and whistles, and this video is going to give you a quick breakdown on how the game looks and performs now that we have an official PS5 version. This is not a tech channel. I can't really go into in-depth on every single little thing. You can go to Digital Foundry for that, but I can give you some quick impressions so that you can get back in the game. So right off the bat, I can confirm that the game does look a lot better. Resolution is much higher and is definitely closer to what you would get on the PC. Now, of course, again, PC, if you got a high-end PC, it's gonna look and play a lot better. No doubt about that. But if you're watching this video, then odds are you don't have a high-end PC and you want to check out the game on PS5 if you haven't already. So for the last several years, we have been playing a pretty inferior version of Path of Exile, again with the PS4 version, and it wasn't even a good version at that. Resolution was extremely low, textures were low quality, it just did not look or play that well. But right out the bat, this definitely looks a lot better, and it is immediately noticeable. You also get a couple little extra options if you do want to increase some of the graphics here. That you can adjust the shadow quality, and you can turn on global luminescence, which is going to add some extra effects to glowing objects and stuff like that. It does have a set performance cost, and you do have a little bit of control of how much performance to graphics that you want in the PS5 version. Again, this is not the best version to play this game. You're still going to get some FPS drops. It's not stable. If you want to get that super stable experience, then you're gonna have to dish out a nice computer. This is a pretty old game at this point, and again, it is really starting to show its age. I'm very, very excited for Path of Exile 2 to drop. It's definitely long overdue, and it seems to be made for next-gen consoles right out of the gate, which is definitely very exciting. But in the meantime, we still are stuck with Path of Exile 1 for a couple more months. And as I can tell during these initial hours, it is a noticeable improvement over the PS4 version in terms of its graphics, which is obviously a very nice thing. The PS4 version, I believe, was like playing at like 720, 30 FPS. It was just a very, very blurry, outdated experience. And I noticed right away that the resolution makes a huge difference. Everything is just way more sharper and crisper. The textures they're of higher quality. It just looks a lot better. And it doesn't really give it a next-gen feel because this game was made so long ago. It's pretty much going to be impossible to get that feeling from such an old game. But it definitely does feel newer. It kind of gave me a little bit more motivation to play through, because Path of Exile, I've played it so many times, I've ran through this campaign so many times, and it's starting to get old at this point. That's why I'm extremely excited for Path of Exile 2. But now that we do have the PS5 version, it's going to give you a little bit of kind of a push to kind of, okay, maybe one more time, let me test out one new character before Path of Exile 2 drops. It's a shame that it was delayed, because we're essentially more than halfway through this league. They should have given PlayStation players maybe some currency or like a free armor set, or just a little way of apologizing for having the PS5 version delayed for nearly 2 months. It's actually pretty crazy. And as you saw in the options just there, you can turn on some different shadow qualities. I messed around with it a little bit. Having the global luminescence on does impact the performance a little bit, but I do feel it makes a little bit more of a difference in terms of its visuals. So I was kind of messing around with it, turning it on and off. It's not so much of a difference, but if you're somebody that wants to just the game to look a little bit better, you might want to turn that on. If you're somebody that doesn't care about that, then you can keep the shadow qualities at default and get a little bit extra performance out of it. Again, it's not going to be a super smooth 60 FPS. You're still going to get some frame dips, and the true test of this version is going to be in the end game maps when things get super crazy. I'm not at that point yet. This is a brand new character. I didn't even realize that the PS5 version actually dropped because it was delayed, and I was paying attention to it, but I guess I missed it. So we'll see if I can get around to it. In the meantime, there are a bunch of people who are also covering the game on PS5, and you can get a better idea of how the game runs during those endgame maps and endgame content to see if it's worthwhile, if it's worth playing up until that point, because we all know that the end game in Path of Exile is essentially where the game really starts for a lot of people. So that's actually going to be the true test of how well this PS5 native version actually plays. I do genuinely love grinding gear games. Path of Exile is one of the few live service games that is really worth playing. You never really do need to sink any money into the game to really experience 100% of what Path of Exile has to offer. And grinding gear games have done such a fantastic job of just keeping this game alive and supporting it through the years. And now obviously we are getting Path of Exile 2. And I guess this is sort of like the final hurrah for Path of Exile. Finally, after all these years, getting a PS5 version is kind of bittersweet. This would have been much better if we got this at the launch of the PS5 or within the first year. Now we're already halfway through the PlayStation 5's life cycle and a couple months away from the Path of Exile 2 launch, and we're just now getting a PS5 native version. It's a little bit bittersweet, but you do get those additional customization options. You can resize the UI. Again, you can adjust the shadow quality and the lighting quality. You can adjust the resolution if you want to get better performance. It's 60 FPS, but it's not a perfect 60 FPS. You're going to get some frame dips for sure, and I imagine in the end game that's going to be more prevalent. But yeah, this is definitely a superior version to what we've been playing on console, on PS4, no doubt. So if you have a PS5 and you've been playing the PS4 version of Path of Exile, it's time to upgrade. It's definitely a superior version to what we've been playing, but obviously not the best version out there. And I hope this quick impressions video was at least a little bit helpful for you guys. I just wanted to get a little quick video out there. I know it's not super in-depth, but it is what it is. There isn't too many additional improvements in this version, but it is an improvement overall. So if this video was a little bit helpful for you, be sure to leave a like and a sub. It does really help me out. I appreciate all the support on the channel recently. And the next set of videos, we're going to be focusing on Diablo 4 and its expansion. Got a couple reviews in the mix, so I just wanted to get a quick little first impressions video out here for Path of Exile. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.